So you might say this is downtown Weaver, and we're going to start here and use this as a focal point, and I'm going to put up some maps and I'll show you where I'm standing. This would be Old 61 heading down this way, and that's actually going north in the scope of things. And if I turn around, this is 61 also. So this would be what it looked like with the road going through town before it was sidetracked, and new 61 was put in 1968 with the southbound lane, and then 1974 they put in the northbound, and the railroad is just beyond that. So I'm going to start right away and plug in a picture of this mercantile and show you just a little bit about the history of this thing. It is on the Register of Historic Places. I think it was taken from right about there. So this is where Old 61 dead ends heading north, and you can see where it would have made the bend around the bluff and connected to the new 61. This is where they split back in 1968. Okay, this would be heading south. So then again, here's that building on the corner. And looking on the map that I put up that you saw, this goes much further to the south. So it looks like we got something to look at right away. So on this sign, 130th Avenue, of course, is Old 61. And there's a couple of cool sites here, 2 churches. And that for sure is an old building, and you can see the end of another one back there too. Now that's an old building there. That almost looks like an old creamery, hey? That's gotta go away. So weight restriction ahead. So I'm not sure what that's about. But this gives you an idea now. This was coming into town. This was the main drag back in the day, running north and south along the river, Route 61. This is all concrete highway. Look how narrow the street is. You know, this is my half. My truck fits on it though. Yeah, it looks like it keeps going. I'll see if I can find a place to park my truck, and we'll give it a... So there's a sign up there that says weight restriction, and I wanted to show you this because it looks so cool. So I parked my truck there, and I'm walking down this Old 61, and this is state wildlife over in this area here. So I'm believing that this is all state property since it's Old 61. So I'm going to walk down and show you this side of it. I'm walking south in the scope of things. Okay. They use this for a snowmobile trail now. There's a sign there and a bridge here. So, not sure what all that means up there. Well, do I even want to walk on this? Oh, it seems solid enough. Here's a nice view. Just that view makes you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere. Except for the highway traffic. There's 61 and the railroad bridge is right on the back side of that. So that's a whole new bed, but you can see what was actually holding up the old street bridge. I mean, look at how narrow those are in respect to today's, eh? Well, I walked down a little bit further. You can see a train going by today now. So Route 61 and then the railroad tracks. And that's a 4-lane highway here. This section here has blacktop over it in spots. It's going to round the bend there and then it's going to connect. Well, it would have connected to 61 before they put in the 4-lane highway. So I think we'll end this. So this is the south end of old 61 and you can see the curve. I finally went back to my truck and brought my truck to this next intersection and got off. You can see where it is here. So there's our highway. So it would have come right off here. Right off there. It would have come straight through here. There's a car. There you go, see? So it says minimum maintenance road. Travel at your own risk, so you know. I'm just going to put my truck on Old 61 so I can see what it would have felt like to drive on it. And then I'll just back out of here because I'll never get Big Red over that bridge. But this is it. So there's just enough room. So two cars of today could pass on this. Naturally, it's grown in. But yeah. And somewhere along here is where I stopped because I wasn't sure how much further I had to go and I didn't have a water bottle with me, so. But yeah, that gives us a feel. So you can see how close this building is to 61. There's probably 100, maybe 150 feet, and then there's 61. And there were buildings all along in this area, right in here. And the sole purpose of 74 here was to get down to the depot that was probably sitting right about where that one-way sign is on the other side. And I'm going to see if I can figure out how to get down there. But I'm going to put up another picture that shows you what we're looking at back in the day. And I'll mark where I'm standing. And I'll see if I can find a way to get across the street. And I think I'll put up some ads too that I found, newspaper clippings. Yeah, it's always nice to see what happened back in the day, right? remember Weaver Landing, this is actually a place where you can put your boat in. It's quite nice there. You can even go out and they have a platform to look at the wildlife. But this is where we made the end to our great railroad chase when we were chasing the Empress. And if you remember just a moment ago, we were just across the street, and that's where Old 61 connected, right in this area, to New 61, or where they split back in the day to the original. And the depot was right down in there, so I'm still trying to figure out how to get down in there. But while I do that, remember that shot we had of the Empress coming down? Well, I didn't want to walk along the railroad and be on their property, so I parked across the street in front of that mercantile. And this is 61, and this is the railroad. Weaver's Landing is right up there. That's where I was earlier, trying to see if I could find a place to walk in here, but it didn't pan out. So I decided I would just park the truck, be very careful, and cross Route 61. So I'm going to put up a few more pictures now, and I will put a red X where I'm standing, and that's approximately where the depot was, right in this general area right here. Now, when the railroad came in, it started in St. Paul and was working its way south. It was the Milwaukee and St. Paul Railroad. By 1869, it had reached Hastings. In 1870, it was going through Red Wing, and by 71, it was all the way this far south, closing the gap to having it finished. And just about the time it was getting finished, they were extending their railroad from Milwaukee to Chicago. So it wasn't long, and the name was changed to the St. Paul, to the Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul Railroad. So that's how that change in name came. And then, of course, when they added the Pacific coast to it, it wound up the Chicago, Milwaukee, St. Paul, and Pacific Railroad. So that's a little bit of the backstory to it. So when 61 was put in, they did move the depot a little bit to the west to fit another track in here that was probably on the east side of the depot. And remember, back in the day, there was one track that was originally laid, then they went to two. So there was two tracks in here and a few sidings and that sort of thing when this highway was put in. But this gives you an idea where the depot is. I'll put those pictures up now. Wow. Well, at least they're having a good time in there, you know. I'm in Wabasha. I stop at this place every once in a while. I love their batter fried mushrooms. I cannot find good batter fried mushrooms in this place. They're to die for, I'm telling you. If you like batter fried mushrooms, this is the place. So what I was trying to tell you is I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on my next one. So God bless you all. Stay safe. Onward.